to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
The blackest dies.
Kill me, God.
Come on!
Make this pencil.
You're terminated, fucker.
Live or die, man.
Roads? When we're going, we don't need roads.
There can be only one.
Kill you all.
Goonies never say die.
We all need each other. As you can see, I'm not happier.
Are you not entertained?
This is friend.
Happy trails, Hans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Skewered Universe Podcast. My name is Jeff, and today we're going to be talking about something from my childhood. Early 90s film, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Dangerous demons are on the loose, but Ernest is on their trail. He's doing whatever it takes
Your shoes untied.
to save the world from slaughter. Ernest Scared Stupid, rated PG, starts Friday, October 11th at a theater near you.
Now, you may be wondering why Leanne didn't chime in. Well, that's because this time around, I got two really cool guys to join me on this to talk about this great movie. You know them from Tales of the Podcast, 2G1C. We're talking about Justin and Chuck McNasty. How's it going, guys?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having us on.
Of
Yeah,
course.
dude, for real, thanks.
Of course. You had me on your show. It's only fair to have you guys come over here.
And it was a blast.
Yeah,
had-
it was a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun. It was my first time doing anything live, and I was like, this is great. This is so much fun.
It was a fun movie too.
Oh, yeah.
You got lucky. We've done some real stinkers.
And that's being nice about it.
Right. Sorority girls and the creature from hell. Thanks,
Hey,
Chuck.
you back off.
I did pick Monster.
I like Monster.
I know, me too.
Monster is fun. I mean, it's a fun, bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The director, Dan West, was on, and he was super cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
nice.
weird to review a movie when the director's with you.
Yeah, it really is.
I can't even imagine. I did one interview with I don't know if you guys know Tony Wash of Scotchworthy Productions. He's done like It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want To. Most recently, The Rake, High on the Hog with Sid Haig. I had him on and did an interview.
All right.
And it was really weird. I loved the movies, but it was weird having a director there. And then it sounded like I'm just gushing the entire time. So I'm like, I really enjoyed these movies. They're so much fun. I don't care that they're low budget and you guys had issues. I enjoy it. He was like, yeah, well, I look back at some of them. I'm like, there's so many fucking issues, man. I can't even watch them. He goes, the little things bother me.
Yeah, I like High on the Hog a lot, actually. That's a damn good movie.
I still haven't got around to seeing it, and I really need to.
It's very Rob Zombie-esque. Not just the fact that Sid's in it, but it's shot very Rob Zombie, but it's a lot of weed and boobs. I mean, you can't
Everything
really go
Chuck
wrong.
loves in a good movie.
I mean, yeah. It's true.
I mean,
It is.
you can't
I'm
go
a
wrong
boob
with
connoisseur.
that.
Right. I think that's the only thing this movie was missing.
But
You-
Ernest?
Yeah.
It would have been awkward, but
It would have been really sexy though.
I mean, it was funny. Every time he called his dog's name Rimshot, in my head I kept changing it to Rim Job. So I mean,
Oh, man, I've been doing that for years. What we need to do is actually go through the movie and actually replace the audio with that. Do like our own overdub version, and it just that one word.
gonna get real awkward when he gets sentimental over his dog in that one scene.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Rim
god,
shot.
I love it. I really love the idea. If somebody doesn't do that, I'm going to.
Oh man,
You totally should.
I will. You know I will, Chuck. You see what I do with voice clips.
It's true. You've done some brilliant ones. Some good ones.
nice. So yeah, again, I want to thank you guys. You guys actually brought this movie to the table. This was your suggestion when we were having some discussions prior to me going on your show. You mentioned it, and I was just like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, it's a fun one, dude. It's one that we actually reviewed quite a while ago, and uh, I'll be 100% honest. It was one that we got a lot of views really fast on.
Yeah, we
And
did.
I was like, what's gonna be a better film to talk about than something that people want to check out? And that's how you can actually tell what people want, is by how many views or listens it's getting. And and just being able to talk about it with a different group of people kind of adds a new perspective to it.
Oh,
Right. Yeah, and
I mean,
this is one I remember from my childhood. So go ahead, Chuck. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
oh, you're good. No, that's kind of what I was gonna say. It's just like it's one of those that like being in the same age, like the same age, in the your mid 30s or whatever. We all grew up on this movie. And I know JB feels the same way. I mean, it was one of those movies that kind of like pushed me more into horror when I was already kind of liking it anyway. And, having an Ernest movie that was horror based was kind of cool. It's always been a favorite.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually forgot how much horror is actually in it, because I remember the comedy so much, and then I'm watching it again, and I watched it between last night and this morning, so I'm still really fresh on it.
Nice.
And I was just like, I was blown away. I'm like, wow, this could give younger kids nightmares. But if you're old enough, I mean, it's definitely like an intro to horror if you haven't seen anything else.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely some dark stuff in it. Can we cuss on here? Or?
Oh yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
Fucking let it fly, man.
This is actually the movie that got me into horror. This came out in what, 91?
91.
I think the first time I watched this, I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I remember getting scared, of Trantor. And I mean, I would at the time I had like one of those dark guns. I was like shooting at the TV and stuff, and but it was like one of those things where like this right here is like what got me started. This is the first like horror quote unquote kind of movie that I watched growing up, and I mean it just. On top of it, I mean, like, dude, we got a killer cast in this movie too.
Was it the first Ernest movie you saw?
Yeah. I was born in 88.
Oh, okay. I was born in 84.
Yeah. See, so by the time this came out, I was only 3. Like, I probably saw another one before, but I can't say I remembered it.
Yeah.
Right. And see, I was born in 79, so I had already seen like Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, and then I came across this.
Wow. Yeah. You're almost old enough to be my dad. No,
I am an old. You can attest. I am an old fuck. I have a lot of old memories. I talk about shit, and then I'll run across somebody younger at work or any place I've worked, and I'll say something. They're like, "What is that?"
And
then I just look at them like, "Okay, get the fuck away from me if you don't know."
Oh yeah, dude. No, I get it. I'm the same fucking way, man. Believe me. I feel older than I probably should. I'm 38 and I feel like I'm like 60 half the time. Like when I talk to younger people and shit, I mean, just me saying younger people,
right?
Kind of just even kind of shows, I constantly find myself banging my head on the wall. Kids these days.
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. I actually got into a conversation with somebody today that was saying something, and his excuse for it was I was born in 84. And I was like, well, I was born in 88, dude. Like, I'm 4 years younger than you. So I don't even think it's so much of an age thing. I just think it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm just while I'm getting older, I'm just disliking people more.
I've disliked people for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say I didn't. I'm just saying more.
Yeah. I think it grows with age.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
It's a scathing hate with me now.
It really is. I talked to Chuck a lot, and when I first met Chuck, he was wearing unicorn shirts and rainbow things, and
that's not true at all. But if
okay, fine, I over exaggerated that a little bit.
He was clean shaven, never knew anything about weed.
Actually,
had the voice of a songbird.
If Chuck doesn't mind, there was a time when he was clean shaven.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think it was
I fucked up and shaved I had a big beard. It was the biggest beard I ever grown out. And I screwed up, and then I became fucking baby faced, and I hated it. I'm slowly growing it back though.
It didn't last long.
I'm the same way. I did it once, and I looked at myself, and I went, "Oh God, how did I ever survive without facial hair?"
No,
yeah. I have no chin. I have no chin and a fucking crow nose, which means my chin looks 10 times more non-existent because of my fucking nose. If I don't have like chin hair or something.
See, I have no upper lip, so I shave it off. I have a baby face, but then I have no upper lip, so it's just awkward.
Oh.
And I'm like,
I
try to
do
keep my lips showing. I feel
okay?
like mine are luxurious.
I look like the dude from Despicable Me and Fester when I don't have any facial hair. Okay, it's sad
because I can't. That's kind of sexy in its own way, though.
I don't know how. JB,
if you're into Uncle Fester.
If you're into Uncle Fester and fucking Steve Carell was that dude from Despicable Me, I guess.
Hey, you know what? It's going to be somebody's kink, so maybe you're on somebody's list, man. You could start an OnlyFans and shave.
You know, people have you know, sex toys that are, you know, vaginas at the end of a fucking foot. I saw the other day. People also get into popping balloons with, you know. So yeah, there could be a possibility that you know what, you're probably right. You're guaranteed right. Somebody has some kind of a fetish for Fester.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where did this conversation just go?
You know, I have no idea.
I love it though. Having fun.
I think we're gonna start making some new really weird sex toys though. So
armpits.
I just want them all shaped like Uncle Fester at this point.
God.
So
like a fucking light bulb.
So real quick, I mean, before we get into the movie here, you guys, not only do you have the podcast, Tales from the Podcast and 2G 1C, real quick here, you guys also have a comic book that you're working on. If you want to touch on that real quick here. Tales of Shock and Terror.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. We'll touch the hell out of that. So oh yeah, we will. We'll caress it real good.
Just do it slowly and gingerly.
Yeah. See what happens when we're guests together on shows.
It turns very provocative. That's a good thing, Chuck.
Yeah, I know, it's fun with me. I'm a Howard Stern fan.
Right. So I guess I'll go ahead and start off with some of that stuff. But yeah, we definitely have a comic book coming out. We are doing quite a bit with it. I'm sure everything that I'm going to be talking about are going to be in the show notes as well. But like, we got a store with a bunch of merch that's going on. That's all going towards with this comic book, and we got a Kickstarter that I believe by the time this episode airs, it will probably already be live, which I'm pretty excited to say. But the comic book is called Tales of Shock and Terror. It is a horror anthology comic book, kind of done in the vein of EC Comics, with a lot of the artwork kind of having some of that grittiness of like a grindhouse gore shriek type style. And it's all hand drawn by a good friend of ours and our artist, Drew Moreland, who did a lot of filmmaking stuff over at Douglas, which is the school that Tom Savini does his stuff at. And I mean, she's doing an amazing job.
She's killing it. She really is.
Oh yeah, like our
hand drawing it.
Oh yeah, our main cover is actually hand painted too. So I mean, it's like it's done in a way that was last done in the horror realm probably by EC Comics. Ever since everything's went digital, things haven't been done this way. So it's just a really cool thing. It has 3 short stories, one done by myself, one by my sexy co-host Chuck Nasty, and you're very welcome, and one done with our buddy Ron Pertee. I mean, if you have any questions about it that you'd like to ask, man, feel free. I'm trying not to give too much away because we really want people to check it out. We worked really, really hard on this comic book, and we think any horror fan or anthology fan alike are really going to enjoy what we're putting out. I know it's picked up quite a bit of steam from a lot of the people that I've chatted with and talked to, and we're hoping to keep building that steam up and get this comic book in pretty much anywhere and everywhere that you can get it, and at least do a good enough job to have another one.
That's
the
what
girl
was that,
bitch would blow the top off of it. All right, buddy.
Oh yeah,
We're keeping it sexy in this bitch.
nice.
trying to.
Yeah, I don't want to ask too many questions because I want people to go and discover this and check out your Kickstarter and kind of learn about it on their own. So I don't want to dive too much into it because I know you want them to experience it for themselves. And I think that's the best way to get into it is they go support you guys, they check it out, and they really find out what it is. Because to me, it sounds amazing already. And I'm a huge fan of anthology horror. I mean, I grew up on Creepshow. In the last couple of years, I've checked out like Vault of Terror, the original Tales from the Crypt anthology film. Anything like that, I'm down for. So an anthology horror comic book is definitely right up my alley. So I'm definitely going to be checking it out myself. And I urge the listeners out there to go check it out too. Support these guys, get it out there, because the more horror and the more horror comics we can get, and especially from guys who are doing it from a place of love and have a passion for it, it's what we need, as opposed to just some corporate machine churning out just whatever they think is gonna hit with somebody.
Right. Yeah.
It's sort of like indie horror. It's sort of like indie horror films. When there's somebody that makes an indie film with a lot of passion, you're gonna be there to support it. Whether it's the greatest thing you've seen or it's just, it's good enough and you can tell they're gonna grow. You want to be there to support it. So I want people to be there to support you guys too.
Thank you.
You are completely right on that, dude. Like,
yeah.
I mean, from somebody who does a lot of movie reviews and talks to a lot of people in that industry, like, I mean, there's indie artists out there, like, one of Chuck's and I's friends, like, for instance, Jennifer Nangle, and she's a great actress, and she's doing a lot of stuff with like her Malvolia character, but she's definitely in the indie horror realm. And I mean, you can tell the passion's there. You can see how good it is, especially when you compare it to, other filmmakers. Like, I don't know. And I'm not like trying to trash talk people, but like, have you ever seen anything like the Paranoia tapes, Jeff?
I've seen them listed, but I have never delved down that rabbit hole yet.
Oh, so all right. So there's 10 movies, right?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The director, he had to get rid of his first movie and replace it because he would put in real footage of Columbine in it. And all he was trying to do was make the longest lasting horror anthology film series. And it's all just junk.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
And you could just see that there's like no passion there, and that it was just done for that kind of a reason.
I have most of these movies on Blu-ray. I didn't buy them; they were gifted.
He's not luck.
I'm not wrong, and I haven't watched any of them.
Oh my God!
I watched one. I take it back. I watched two of them. I take it back. I watched two of them.
Yeah, for his favorite.
I'm speechless right now because it sounds like utter horse shit.
It truly is. But all I was trying to say is like I definitely get what you're saying. Like, especially when like you can see the difference between there being passion and somebody trying to gain recognition. And there's a huge difference there between those. And kind of going back to the comic book stuff, man, like I honestly I don't care if it gets huge. I'm doing this because I love it. Would I like it to get huge? Yes. Do I want it to be successful? Yes. But the reason I'm doing it is because I love it and I want to give back to the horror community that's been so good to me.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of how I approach this podcast. Is my wife, who actually kind of pushed me into doing this. She bought me the first microphone I ever used. It was kind of like, look, you love talking about movies, especially horror movies. Why not do a podcast? You've talked about it. Basically, she was like, just fucking do it. And it took a while for me to kind of get that ball rolling. And then once I kind of got a rhythm going, I'm like, if this takes off, fine. If not, I just want to put my voice out there as another person in the horror community who loves talking about movies. And maybe there's something somebody hasn't seen from way back, or an indie film they don't know about, that maybe they'll listen to an episode and go, oh, I should fucking check this movie out. It sounds really cool. Or the other side is they'll go, I'll take that off my watch list because they're saying it's utter bullshit. Which I hate. I hate trashing a movie, but when it's warranted, I will do it respectfully. Right. I'm not one of those that wants to just totally destroy it, but I'll be like, look, it's not great. You know, if it's not good, I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna be respectful about it. I'm not gonna sit there and be one of those Twitter assholes who just shits on everything.
I don't know. There are certain
Twitterers.
things out there that are just tasteless. So, you
Oh
know.
there's garbage piles just piled up and piled up.
Oh yeah.
They get more notoriety than the shit that that's actually good. But
Unfortunately.
yeah. Oh, real
And-
quick, but gotta give your woman's prop, man. That's pretty cool that she was that cool and that supportive to do that and be
Yeah,
like, hey,
dude, that's fucking
you know?
awesome.
Yeah,
That's actually the only reason me and Chuck agreed to do this show, and she's not even here. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, she would be on, but it's hard for her, like, when there's so many people on, she's like, look, I can't follow the conversation. There's too many voices. Everyone's talking over everybody. And I get it. So she'll come on if there's like one other person. But when it gets to be like 3-4 of us on, she's like, do it yourself. I'm good.
right?
Which is
I
fine.
was,
I mean,
I was just joking anyway.
Oh, yeah. No. Everyone's got their thing, and but when she's on, she's good for what she does. And I can't thank her enough for kind of pushing me into this. Like, she basically gave me this is your podcast and kicked me into the pit like in 300. And here we are.
Hell yeah,
I love it. I love it, man.
that's awesome.
So anyway, Ernest
Scared Stupid, yeah. As we
Okay.
said, from 1991.
Yeah.
And just real quick here, it was written by John Cherry III, Coke Sams, and Charles Gale. Directed by
Yes.
John Cherry III.
Well,
and
he
of
did a lot
course-
of the early Ernest stuff. John Cherry was very, very involved with Jim Varney's early career for the TV show, the commercials. I mean, he's a big part of a lot that Jim.
That's
Varney did.
what I was seeing that I never knew, and I was like, okay, so this guy knows exactly what he's doing with the Ernest character.
Yeah.
And of course, we have
100%.
the great Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell,
Yes.
Eartha Kitt as Old Lady Hackmore.
Such a beautiful singing voice. If you go back and
Oh.
I know it's very old fashioned, but I mean, it's true.
On a sidebar here, my first exposure to Eartha Kitt was watching her on the 60s Batman show as Catwoman. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, she's good. And not to give away too much here, but between her and Jim Varney, there was not a piece of scenery in this film that they did not absolutely chew to shit with their performance. And I mean that in the best way possible.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
And then, of
We
course,
even had an amazing Shea Astor in this. Oh my god.
Mhm.
yes, as
Yeah.
I was just getting to that, gonna say you guys actually had her on your show before.
Yeah, she actually does a lot of singing and stuff, and she has her own YouTube channel. I'm sure you guys can search it out. She's pretty easy to find, but I mean, man, that girl, you would not guess it, but after doing Ernest, she ended up being Jordan Gordon-Levitt's girlfriend character on Third Rock from the Sun, but now she does like a shit ton of singing, and I mean, dude, that chick can sing, and I mean, good. Like you go in there like, all right, well, this is gonna be kind of good or whatever, but then you're actually listening to it, and it's like, holy fucking shit, this is like amazing.
Damn, I'm gonna have to check that out because I did. When you said the name, I'm like, that sounds so familiar. And not only from this movie, and then I looked up her profile and was seeing images of her on Third Rock from the Sun. I'm like, okay, now it makes more sense. Now I'm putting it all together who she is. And I'm gonna check out her music so I can hear that because it sounds really cool.
It definitely is. I strongly suggest checking it out.
And of course,
second
I
that.
mean, we have creature effects done by the Kyoto brothers, who, if anyone is a horror fan, knows them from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
And
And that's also they also used some of the clowns from that movie for Scared Stupid.
yes, and watching it again, I was like, it's so obvious, but I like the subtle changes they made just enough to make it work
Yeah.
for this movie. But
Oh yeah, I think they just repainted them.
I
Yeah,
love
they
what
added
they
a few
bring to
things,
the
I think.
table. I love what they brought to the table in this movie, in Killer Clowns, and this movie as well. Killer Clowns is one of my favorite movies. I discovered it as a kid on HBO. Actually, my dad found it. He goes, "Hey, come here and watch this. It's about killer clowns from outer space." I'm like, "What?" And
what's it called? Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll show my cards here. I do not like clowns. I hate them. I have a fear of clowns. And it's one of those things where if I see one, I immediately go into like fight mode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you a quick story here. There's a theme park here in California called Knott's Berry Farm, and they do a Halloween haunt every year.
Mm-hmm.
One year, a bunch of friends and I got together. We went, and they're like, "We're going to go through the clown maze." And I was like, "The fuck we are?" They're like, "Oh, come on." They're like, "Come on, it'll be fun." I said, "Fine, but, I'm not going to like it." I went through there ready to fight, my fists clench. And I remember one clown like peeked around the corner to see what crowd was coming next. Looked down, saw my fists were clenched, ready to fight. Did not jump out at me or my friends, waited for 2 more groups to go by, and then I heard him jump out.
That's funny.
And I was like, I don't want to hit anyone, but if you jump out at me and you're wearing any of that pancake makeup on your face, you might get hit. So yeah, 42, and I don't like clowns, so go figure.
It's understandable.
But yet I
It's
love
definitely
Killer Clowns from
understandable.
Outer Space.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we all saw that one pretty young, and I mean, I always thought it was fucking hilarious. I had a lot of fun watching that one.
Yeah,
I always love the fact that the cotton candy pods.
Oh yeah,
because I grew up watching the Invasion of the Body Snatchers and shit.
I love cotton candy.
Oh yeah.
And then I saw that and I was like, oh wow, this is pretty crazy. It's what they're doing in that one movie.
Yeah, and I just love that. I dug into, not to get sidetracked off Ernest Scared Stupid, but I was listening to some of the special features on the Killer Clowns Blu-ray I have. They're talking about how they took like Sparklet's water bottles and repurposed them to make some of the weapons in Killer Clowns and all of this stuff. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
There wasn't a huge budget on that movie, I don't believe.
No, not at all. And the matte paintings in that
they made
were
it look
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
They killed it for sure.
So to circle back, since we keep sidetracking here, which I'm fine with, it's good. As long as you guys are cool with it, so am I.
That's what we do, man. You were on our show.
I guess it's okay this time.
So just a quick synopsis of the film. We see that like in the late 19th century, there's a troll named Trantor chasing this young girl who I don't know if you guys caught. She was laughing when they got the close-up of her at the tree. Instead of looking scared, she was laughing. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to forgive it because I love the movie. I'm like, whatever. She's probably having fun thinking this thing is just ridiculous looking if she's seeing the troll at all. Or they're telling her,
Trantor was scary.
He's freaky looking, man. He really is. So we see that the townsfolk in Bryersville, Missouri, capture the troll, tie him up, and Ernest's, was it his great-grandfather, Phineas Worrell?
Yeah.
I believe it was Phineas, right? I have it written down here, so I'm double-checking. I did not. Yes, Phineas Worrell condemns him to be prisoned under an oak tree. Then, of course, Trantor says there's going to be a curse. One of your bloodline's going to free me. And we find out part of that curse as well is that every generation of Worrell is going to get dumber and dumber as the years go on.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the synopsis. I mean, he's going to be Trantor can be released by a Worrell the night before Halloween. That's pretty much, it's a simple plot, but there's so much going on that it all works for me.
It's kind of like the perfect Ernest movie. In my opinion.
It really is. So I want to ask you guys, and you guys can decide who wants to answer first. Like, how did you first come to discover this movie or even discover Ernest in that fact? And
I already told mine earlier.
Yeah, so
Chuck, you can go with yours, man.
You jumped the gun a little bit there, Justin, but Chuck, go ahead.
I mean, I always was a big fan of Ernest. I'd seen, I think it was Camp and Jail before I saw this one, and Which I mean, I always loved Joe a lot too. I thought that had some interesting elements of thriller stuff in it, just because bad Ernest. But no, when I first saw Ernest Scared Stupid, I can't remember how old I was, but I really dug it. It was just kind of like, because it was kind of gross. It was funny. I thought it was different from the most of the Halloween family oriented movies that I watched or that came on, because this one was pretty, I mean, like, it's kind of a fucked up tale. I mean, this fucking trolls turning kids into wooden figurines.
Dolls.
Yeah, I forgot that part of the plot synopsis, so forgive me.
I mean, because it's kind of a creepy thing, like, this big nasty troll thing that's covered in snot and slime, booger lips, and
Want a bumper sandwich?
Yeah, that always, dude, that right there, that scene right there always stuck with me. It really, I used to think that I was being funny when I'd call people booger lips when I was in school.
They were really early on trying to kill one of the pets too. Like, you see that in movies every once in a while for shock value.
Mm-hmm.
When they killed Rim Job, I mean, they well, you didn't really kill him, but they turned Rim Job into a wooden toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid, and I was like, how could you do that to the dog?
I know, poor Rim Job.
Isn't it Rim Shot?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going with it. I was just rolling with it.
I figured if I could just call him Rim Job the entire time, nobody would say nothing.
But yeah, I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. It's one that you can show to your kids, which, I mean, I have, and it's always fun to watch. It's a good one. That's pretty much how I got into that.
Yeah, see, and I grew up watching like Camp and Goes to Jail, and I was a huge fan of the TV show when it was on, because it was on like Saturday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on right around the time or just after Pee-wee's Playhouse, somewhere around there. So these were like the two things that I always watched, was like the ridiculous and absurd, but I loved it. And I loved Ernest just because there was that whole multiple personality thing going on with all the different characters. His facial expressions, and especially in this movie, man, I think this performance is one of his best. Like, the movie is solid all the way through, aside from the adults that really don't matter a whole lot, which is fine. Right. It's more about the kids anyway, or at least one kid in the end.
Right.
But yeah, I remember the whole thing about the kids being turned into wooden dolls, and I'm like, that's messed up. They're essentially killing these children to get power and take over the world. What the fuck is going on?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Hollywood at all, does it?
Sounds exactly like it. It makes you think, though, too, because, I mean, say us as a group went around and just killed a bunch of kids and put them in a tree. Maybe we can get powers to have trees spawn our babies.
I don't like where you're going with this, JB.
Thanks.
I said I don't like where you're going with this.
Oh.
We're not putting babies in trees, okay?
No, the babies come from trees. Well, yeah, you got to kill the kids and put them in the tree too, I guess.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, fine. They don't have to be babies. I mean, they could be at least 2.
You go to jail for conspiracies? That's how you go to jail for conspiracies.
This is the most fucked up version of the circle of life I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Right.
We know how to keep it fresh, folks.
I was just trying to make us have more powers. God damn you guys.
Oh man.
Lord. Ridiculous.
So yeah, it sounds like we're all on the same page with loving this movie, but like, what did you guys think of like the overall story? I mean, it's kind of dark when you really think about it, like we were talking about. I mean, it's a lot darker than some of the other fare that's out there for kids to watch. And there was some really gross stuff in it, like when the trolls get killed, they're leaving behind these piles of like bones and goo.
Yeah.
Like, I completely forgot about that. I saw it, I went, oh shit, that's gnarly.
Right. Yeah, they definitely did. The like you were talking about with the effects and everything. I mean, they were very well done. Unfortunately, looking back at a lot of them, being a Killer Clowns fan, you can see that a lot of the special effects, even like the little swirly things, were like exactly the same that were used in Killer Clowns.
Yes.
So there was that, but I think overall the plot of this, especially considering that you got to keep in mind that this movie was made for children,
Right.
and I think originally was released by Disney. So this would have been like what, like maybe, I think it was pre Hocus Pocus, but still like a family Halloween movie. I mean, overall, I think the plot of it for kids is very interesting, and
Better than Hocus Pocus is.
Yeah. Well, I will say though, like even as an adult going and watching this, I mean, the idea of a troll being trapped under a tree that comes out after a certain thing is said, but or pretty much breaking a curse, if you will, then comes back and murders. Well, doesn't really even murder. He turns children into wooden dolls to raise his children to take over the world. I mean, it's your basic kind of demon taking over the world kind of story, because that they always want to bring their children from hell type thing, and it's
Right.
done in a child kind of point of view where they can watch it and still not be too scared, with the whole Ernest antics going on in the background as well. And it's just it touches so many different kind of genres. It's great. The comedy in it's great. The pizza throwing at the bullies, all those little things.
Oh yeah.
The even some of the drama of them having to deal with the bullies, and then the horror is great. The even having Eartha Kitt doing everything, and then even when she has her little turnaround with the what is it, the with the whole Miak thing, and a mother's love type stuff. Like it's just
Right.
like every aspect of this movie gives you just so many feelings, from laughing to just contentment to even little hints of some spookiness there. It's all around, to me, just a very entertaining and fun film.
Yeah, I what I like about it so much is everything you just said, but the fact that they kind of took classic horror elements. I mean, look at all like the old classic horror movies that always had the lynch mob going after the
Well,
monster.
that was in the
whatever.
intro as well, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I mean, like they kept that in there. They they had that classic feeling to it, because it does have like an old school story plot to it, just added with some funny weird shit from Ernest. And that's another thing I really like about it, is it because it really does keep with the guidelines, I guess, for a classic monster movie, and especially there's at the end when everything ends up being okay and everybody's like hooray,
Right.
and everything to it. But
Yeah,
I do it.
I do have to ask everybody: has anybody ever had Miak?
No, it doesn't exist.
No, I never looked in to see if it was real, but I've always wanted to try it ever since seeing it on this movie, and I've never really actually looked for it. But
It is not a real product. I cannot remember what they said, like how it happened. It was just somebody, I can't remember who it was, but because I was watching an interview with something that had to do with Ernest Scared Stupid, can't talk. And they said that, so basically somebody like it was just a sound that came out of somebody's mouth or something, or it was just like Miak, like kind of like you see in a comic book, somebody's puking or something.
really, because when I look it up, there is a definition of what it is.
What's the definition of it?
It says that authentic Bulgarian Miak
That's funny.
is like a yogurt-like substance.
Wow.
no, that's not what it was in the film.
Well, I'm just letting you know, like that's what it says on this website. It also says that it's not real. So
Okay,
I do want to throw that out there.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
Or some asshole made Miak finally.
Right. Well, I mean, come on. Like when you look it up, the only thing that's popping up is authentic Bulgarian Miak, which is exactly what he said in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
It's one of those things that is stuck with me. So when someone be like, "Oh, we need to get milk for this," I'm like, "No, you need
Miak.
authentic Bulgarian Miak." They're like, "What?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Miak. It's what you need." They're like, "I don't understand what you're talking about."
Keeps you regular.
Yeah. Was it Tivia?
Yeah, that's it. Activia should make Miak.
Yeah, Miak by Tivia. Jamie Lee
Well,
Curtis did amazing commercials for it.
We need to trademark this before they really do it.
I don't know if we'd be able to or not.
Hmm.
It's already too late. This very moment, it's already too late.
Somebody out there has already got the idea. They're putting it in motion.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. At least in my stone brain, it is.
It would be.
It
So-
would be, yeah.
I want to ask you guys one thing. What did you guys think of the opening credit sequence with all the clips from all the classic horror movies and then Jim Varney's just ridiculous facial expressions and reactions to everything going on?
Perfect. It was great. It's because like when you're a kid and you're watching a movie, you're just like, I want this movie, like I want the credits to go away and the movie finally start. But like it's actually funny and you don't mind watching it. Yeah.
Right. Funny, and especially for people like Chuck and I will speak for Chuck on this one because I have had many conversations about this topic in past with him, but like we are both old school like Universal monster fans, so like seeing a lot of those things also like brings back memories of watching some of these movies too, and it's just it's a different but very fun intro. I think it's one of the better ones out there, and hands down the best Ernest intro.
I have to agree.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely loved it on this last watch. I was just sitting here in awe, just looking at the clips and then seeing his ridiculous facial expressions, which is what makes him so good at the comedy. Just his face is kind of like Jim Carrey's, where it's rubber and he can get it to do so many different things. And seeing all his funny reactions throughout the credits, I was like, this is great. It's like, you know what? This is going to be a great ride. I'm already back in. As an adult, rewatching this so many years later. I don't remember how long it's been since I've seen it. But I sat here just glued to my screen watching it like, oh my God, this is great.
It definitely was, dude. I mean, I personally watch this movie more than any grown man should admit. I will
He
fully.
does. He really does.
Since me and Chuck have done this show, I've told you most of the times I've watched this, and you've probably had at least 10 messages at least about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this week alone, I watched the movie 3 times. Twice because I wanted to, one time because I was like, I should probably refresh myself. And that was last night. Which honestly, I didn't need to refresh myself at all. I just really wanted to watch the movie again.
I refreshed myself last night, but not by watching Ernest Scared Stupid.
Even when I was talking to Chuck earlier today, and he'll quote you on this. I was like, dude, even though I know this movie by heart, I watched it again. Like,
it's a great one though. It's all right though.
It is. For me, it's one of the top. It's one of my top movies that I a go-to film, if you will. I won't say it's like one of the greatest films ever made, but I will say it's one of my go-to. It's one that I have a good time watching it.
Oh yeah. I've never watched it, but like I'm bored.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Yeah. I got actually wanted to comment too. When you're talking earlier, Jay, different characters and stuff that was able to do in this one. There's some of my favorite characters from him. I mean, because I remember growing up and watching, I saw the commercials, the TV show, and all that stuff. Because it came on ABC. My dad works for ABC affiliated news station. So like, yeah, it was always on. But he took a lot of the characters they put in his movies from those old commercials and old TV shows and stuff. But I love like the old woman, and I like it when he's the army guy.
Oh yeah.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna it's just like it's just great. Like I love it, man.
Where's
Oh
my
my.
machine gun?
Yeah.
When he says
Yeah,
that,
I
I'm like, I was like, don't give him a machine gun. That's just bad.
It's just greatness. That's one thing I love with Ernest movies is Jim Varney's way of creating these characters.
Right.
And those, and the old woman though, that one probably is one of my favorites, like as well though, just because it reminds me of so many. It's a great parody of so many women that I've met in my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We've all met someone like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100% on that.
One thing I loved is towards the end of the film when, all the trolls have dropped from the tree and they're, rampaging everything. Our hero, Kenny, who is the friend of Elizabeth, is sitting there with Ernest in the treehouse, and he's going through all his multiple personalities. And the kid just calls out to the camera, "Oh, great! I got to defend this place with the guy with multiple personalities." And I was like, "Okay, good on you for calling this out." And I like that the kid is aware of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a very smart kid.
Yeah. Everybody. It's already like an automatic known thing that Ernest has these different things in his head.
Right.
And it's
no secret.
It's so funny. This movie is funny. It can be creepy.
Even a little sexy.
A lot of wood. A lot of wood in this movie.
A lot of hardwood. I'm assuming by sexy,
and a couple of rim jobs.
I'm assuming not only the rim job comment is what you meant by sexy, but also Ernest's hairdresser character.
Oh God, yes. There's nothing more beautiful than that.
Hairspray will fix anything.
It's not wrong.
Lord. Yeah, it's weird because as a kid and everything, being such an Ernest fan and everything, and then years later, and I always, JB, you know what I'm getting ready to say, because I kind of had to always throw this out. My aunt passed away many years due to a tragedy before Jim Varney did, and when he passed away, he was buried directly next to her.
Oh wow!
In Lexington Cemetery. Yeah, I didn't know that. I found out by watching some cemetery shows and stuff, and these people were we're at Jim Varney's grave, and I'm like, that's my aunt right next to you. That's crazy. And yeah, it's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So anytime you go to visit, if you want to go pay respects to your aunt, you can also pay respects to Jim Varney.
Yeah, and like his entire family, like a big chunk of his family is like right there too.
Wow.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I was hoping maybe there was some kind of connection, but we had his nephew on, and apparently he's looked it up. There's no real connection, unfortunately for me, but it's still interesting regardless.
Right.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since we know the location of him, we can pull off and do what they did on Family Guy with Jim Varney.
Oh,
What?
no.
What was that?
No.
Hey, what did they do on Family Guy? I'm drawing a blank.
They resurrected the corpse of Jim Varney.
Did they really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Peter went to go out and shoot him, and he goes, "I don't know how, but he got the gun. He got the gun. We got to get out of here."
I don't know if I've seen that episode or not. I'm sure I have.
I am so happy you got that, Jeff.
Oh yeah. I'm a big Family Guy fan. I haven't really kept up with it so long, but I watched so much of it from its inception to when it came back.
Right. That's a much older episode. So I'm just happy you got that one. That's great.
As soon as you said it, I'm like, oh man, no.
I wasn't sure if you're gonna just fully stop me from saying it. Oh, I love you, man. You're great.
Man. I am crying with laughter. Oh God. Oh, I'm so glad we're doing this. Oh my God.
I'll have to send Chuck a clip of that just so he can see how funny it is, because he's gonna die when he sees it.
I'm sure. I'm thinking I have seen it. I just don't remember. But yeah. That's funny.
Oh, anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's cool, man. It's cool. That was that was a great little aside. Like I said, I'm crying with laughter right now. Oh Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
And there is one thing I really liked about the creature work on Trantor. Is there's a couple of scenes in full on daylight where you get to see this creature, everything about it full on, and there's not one thing I see on it where I'm like, oh well, that doesn't look good under this light. You should have hidden it more. It looks really good, and there's so many times that effects artists are like, look, light it a certain way. Don't really put too much light on it because it's going to show the seams and people are going to be taken out of it.
Oh,
when
right, yeah.
When I saw this troll in full daylight, I was like, there's not one thing I noticed on it that I was like, maybe you should have kept it in the dark.
Really
They
did a
did a
good
killer
job
job
with it.
with makeup and everything.
Yeah.
Looks like a miniature guar.
His name does remind me of Trogdor, though, the Burninator.
Yeah.
See, I've only learned about that in the last recent years about Trogdor and what that is. I was not privy to it at the time. It was all the rage.
I was an early viewer of Homestar Runner. I don't even know if that even
Runner.
I don't even know if it exists anymore.
You can still find it some
forget
places.
Trogdor.
I've looked it up and I'm like, okay, now I know what my friend was talking about all the time. He'd go Homestar Runner. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
It's still a website, guys.
I had a buddy that I used to go hang out with and do hallucinogens with and smoke a lot of weed with. And one day I went over to his house and we were actually getting ready to start doing some shrooms that night. And he put Homestar Runner on beforehand. And I was pretty amazed by it. It was, for some reason, it was just so fucking funny to me. Homestar Runner.
It still is.
I'm going to go back and watch some of them.
It's been like 15, 20 years, and I can still put Trogdor the Burninator on and laugh.
Right.
I mean, I'm listening to the same jokes for 15, 20 years and still laughing at them.
And they're just going to get funnier the older we get. And it's not going to be funny to anybody else, but to us it will be.
Right. Maybe I'm just losing my mind.
I mean, it happens.
I think Norman Bates said it best. We all go a little mad sometimes.
It's true. It is true. He said a lot of things the best.
Yeah. Always best friends his mother.
Oh my God.
I was just that all the time.
Fucking Chuck. I was just thinking that same thing, man. Great minds think alike, dude.
Oh yeah. No, I tell my mom that all the time, and she gets a kick out of it, but at the same point, she's just like, that's terrible. I was like, well, I'm not trying to dress up like you and kill women in the shower.
Right.
Like, come on now. At least I'm just trying to get women in the shower, and you have nothing to do with it, mother. See, so it works out better.
Right now, she has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Or do we know? Really? I mean, for all I know, I could be all in my head. I don't even know.
It could be. It could be.
There's no telling, man. You never know.
Oh, blood. Godmother,
I think
no.
We're just gonna really think
Bloodmother.
how fucked up Chuck and I are now after listening to this episode.
Hey, trust me, people have already realized how fucked up I am. So you guys are in good company. We're horror fans.
We're good.
As horror fans, we're known to be a little screwed up. So I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way or to disparage you guys, but we're all a little fucked, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You're just speaking true, brother. How are we going to be discouraged about that?
You are correct. You are correct. But none of us are as fucked as Rimjob was.
No,
Lord.
not at all. And I gotta say, I actually appreciated the emotional hit when that happened, when Rimjob, as I'll call him from now on, got turned to wood, and Ernest was like really like hit by it, like impacted. You're like, okay, there's an emotional beat there that's like, wow.
You get a little serious.
Usually when something happens with the Rimjob and you get hardwood, something does happen.
Oh my goodness. What is happening here? Hey now.
Oh.
Hey now, indeed. Oh my. Oh man.
All right, guys.
That made me
it's
laugh
been
really
great.
hard. I'm sorry.
We've lost JB. We've lost him.
Here on the Circle Jerk Hour,
Oh,
we're going to talk about kids' movies and wood
And rim jobs.
and rim jobs.
What goes better together than some hardwood, rim jobs, and children?
Oh, stop. We're not even.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
good
we're gonna
Lord.
get so fucking flagged. Jesus.
Canceled.
Even Jeff's wife's left. Like, I don't want anything to do with this conversation.
The fucked up thing is she's only hearing my part because I got headphones on. So she's like, what the fuck
So
is
it's-
going on?
So it's not even nearly that bad. She's gonna go back and listen to this and be like, "What the fuck? These people, you talk to them?"
In all
This
honesty,
explains everything.
in all honesty, she's probably gonna think it's goddamn hilarious.
Well,
Well,
then I
good.
guess we win.
All right, dude.
Her sense of humor is right on par with mine. So
right.
Well, good. Good.
for the
That's
most
good.
part, I'm not even a dad, but I make dad jokes and she'll roll her eyes at me and be like, really? Really?
Oh, I make dad jokes all the time. My son looks at me like I'm stupid.
My wife doesn't like me telling jokes to the kids because they're too fucked up, and I do have kids. Oh,
I have one joke. Let me tell you a joke real quick. Want to hear a joke? I'll tell you a joke.
okay. All right.
So what does Winnie the Pooh say when he drops a big Duke?
What's that?
Oh, me.
Here's one for you, Chuck.
I think I might have made that up. I don't know, but my son looked at me like I was stupid. I laughed way too hard at it.
This is a joke I've told for many years, but always cracks me up. What's
Who?
the opposite of Christopher Reeves?
Oh God.
Oh,
What?
no.
Christopher Walken.
Nah.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good one. That's bad.
oh.
And for those who don't know, because Christopher Reeve couldn't walk. Just so you know, he couldn't walk. You get
It gets
walking.
even funnier when you explain it. It's because he couldn't walk.
That's why that's funny for anybody that doesn't know who he's talking about.
He's dead now. So it's,
And
Oh,
Winnie the Pooh's
God.
a bear. If anybody didn't know. That. Pooh, get it? Pooh, like shit. Ha! Ha! Hey now.
Oh shit.
Pandemonium
my
and chaos,
God.
folks.
now I feel like we should do stand up.
You know,
Oh my
honestly,
God.
we probably could do a duo comedy thing, and it would be hilarious. We would just
You
talk
and I
about
would
horror
be the
movies and
only
make
ones
jokes.
laughing at our own jokes.
Oh no! See, we should start doing it. We could do it just to like horror cons. It'd be like a
10
whole thing.
minutes
Like
in, everybody will leave. Be like, these guys are fucking weird.
I'd be staying right there losing my shit. So
I think if we we're like review movies and then we just sit there and talk and do what we do, people would love it. People would love it.
They might.
It would go aluminum.
I love it.
oh man.
Anyways, man, Ernest Scared Stupid. Oh,
I have to say, even the kid actors in this, and like, because there's a lot of times, and I'm sure you guys know this shit. There's a lot of times in movies in general, not just horror, kid actors can be so annoying because they're bad or you just don't buy it. But in this, there's a level to these kids that I buy. Even the bullies, even though they're kind of over the top and ridiculous and your typical, 90s
yeah, the Murdoch.
overweight, asshole kids.
Yeah.
It kind of worked for this because nothing was asked of too much of them, but they all hit their beats pretty well, and I wasn't annoyed by any one of them.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way, especially with kids that young, I don't think they even really had to act that much. I think that was just the way a lot of these kids really were. Like, there's no way, because I mean, like those bullies, especially. I mean, they played that role so well. It's like, at some point in life, they just had fun teasing other people.
The director just said, "Hey, just go be a kid." Well, except okay, look scared. All right, everybody looks well except for that girl by the tree. You just keep smiling and laughing. But everybody else looked petrified. I mean, that's pretty much how I see that actually going. That would be the easiest way to work with kid actors, I think. Hey, just be a kid. Like, what does a kid do when they're scared? Do that.
Right.
Okay,
I think the only one that actually had and I don't mean this in a mean way to anybody else, because I don't think Austin Nagler, the guy who did Kenny, I don't think he actually went on to do anything else past this. But I think Shay Astor was the only child actor in this film that actually went on to really pursue acting and really make a career out of it.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah.
She's probably one of the only actors aside from Jim Varney and Eartha Kitt who actually went on to do anything, because I don't recognize anybody else. But for some reason, for all these years, I've remembered exactly what Kenny looked like and what Elizabeth looked like. Those two kids stuck out in my memory. So anytime I think of this, it's Jim Varney, Eartha Kitt, Trantor, and Kenny and Elizabeth. Those are the characters that stick out in my head every time.
You have to also include in every one of Ernest's movies, you have that duo, those two guys that are always coming up with something.
Oh yes.
Tom and Bobby.
Yeah. It's been one or the other. There's been changes at times. In this one, I can't remember the guys. I can't remember their names.
I think it's John Cadenhead and Bill. I can't say his name. It's Byriger.
The bigger guy. The bigger guy of that.
Bobby's the one that Bobby or Bill Berg. He's the one that did the stuff with Haver and It's Ernest.
Yeah,
and he's even in one of the early Jim Varney films, Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, which he was the gas station guy for that one. And then the other guy is John. Yes, it is John Cadenhead, and he didn't do too much with Ernest, but he, like you said, they, had people back and forth with that role.
Yeah, that role was always switched out, but Bobby was the guy who played Bobby was pretty much a mainstay. He was always there.
Yeah. I think he did 4 of the films.
Because in Camp, it was that other guy.
In Camp, it was somebody else. He did Christmas, Jail, Stupid, and School.
I don't think I ever saw Ernest Goes to School or whatever one that was.
Yeah. You want to take a guess of where he went?
Yeah. I was racking my brain for a second there, and I was like, maybe it was Walmart.
Somewhere else. Maybe it was, no, he went to school.
It would be school. Go to Walmart.
Right. It's I don't know. With the Ernest movies myself, Ernest Scared Stupid is definitely a huge favorite of mine. But I'd say Rides Again and Saves Christmas are the next two for me. Me personally, Jail, School, even Slam Dunk or Africa weren't the greatest ones to me personally, but those are my opinion on it. I still think they're fun to watch, but I mean, I won't go and watch Ernest Goes to Jail over Scared Stupid anytime.
Right. Yeah, for me it was Goes to Camp, Goes to Jail, Scared Stupid, and Saves Christmas. Those were the 4 that I just remember being on all the time. Ones that I saw, we rented, whatever the case. Right. And I never saw any of the other ones because after a while I saw kind of clips of them and I was like, man, good on Jim Varney for getting a paycheck. But I was like, man, these just look like they're not worth my time. So I've never even checked them out.
Yeah, I don't know why I like Rides Again so much. I'm the only person I know that actually likes Ernest Rides Again, but I just do.
I can't remember if I've seen it.
I don't think I've seen that one. I know
that's
the name,
one where they get the crown jewels and they're in the army tank.
Doesn't ring a bell for me.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the most memorable one.
I never saw Africa either.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that one's rough. I've watched it,
but I wouldn't put Jail in the category of those though. It's still the same caliber as because to me it's still the same caliber and the same time of Camp and
That's fair.
Scared Stupid.
By the way, though, John Terry did direct every one of those movies except for School.
Wow.
Just throw that out there. Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah.
Good on him
Anyway.
for having a franchise under his belt. I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
really.
Well, I mean,
quality
he
aside, I mean, that's pretty
worked
much
great
his
with fucking
baby.
Jim. Yeah, he killed it. He did a great job.
Wasn't there a son of Ernest or something like that?
No, there was a
something.
Son of the Mask, and I think there was an Ace Ventura one too, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Ace Ventura Jr. or something.
Yeah, dude. If there was like a son of Ernest, I mean, I don't.
Well, one, I'd like to know the woman that he had a kid with. That see, that's the movie they never made. You know how they had Revenge of the Nerds, like Nerds in Love. They never had Ernest in love, like really in love. Like we never got to see the romance movie. You know, The Notebook meets Ernest. We never got to see that one.
No.
Oh my god.
You know,
That's what we were missing. Is like Ernest falls in love.
Ernest just goes to a sperm bank. That's how it happened. His wife is Miss July 1978. You know what I mean?
And you say sperm bank, and I'm imagining a catastrophe where he knocks everything over, and then he just goes, ew.
Yeah.
Right. And then to fix the problem, fills all of them up with his own. So then there's a bunch of little Ernests everywhere.
Just a bunch of kids running around with vests. Oh god.
I think we just wrote a new movie.
It's gonna cost a lot in our denim budget.
Yeah.
Ernest repopulates the world.
We'll just see if we can get the rights to do a comic book, and then there we go.
Do we know anyone who
can
can do an animated series?
Yeah, or just we can just write fan fiction. We can just start some Ernest fan fiction, and then we'll go with that. You know, and that's the perfect. I mean, if he's gonna have a son, I think that's the perfect way to go about it. Because I really don't see. I really can't see Ernest like getting somebody from behind. I really can't. I can't.
Why
see
does
him
that have
being
to be from behind? I think.
I mean, I can't see him in
he's
any
more of a
position.
missionary kind of guy, though.
I think he probably would. I think Ernest was, was a character of Ernest. I'm talking about Jim Varney. That man didn't do too bad. But Ernest, on the other hand, is totally different.
I definitely see him more of a missionary guy than a doggy style guy.
But with all the voices that he has in his head, I mean, the woman wouldn't get bored. I guess it almost like a gangbang for her.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Ernest, the king of role play.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're.
What I'm gonna do now is, soldier, I'm gonna put it on the middleman, and we're going in.
He does that woman's voice.
There will be rim jobs.
There will be rim jobs.
Lots of rim jobs. Oh, that's the best.
Oh, I lost my train of thought after you said that's the best. Oh god.
But fucking Ernest is like fucking 6 or 7 people at once for women, okay?
Oh.
But the thing is what if he just happens to the old woman the whole time, and then there's a totally different movie.
Oh god.
Then we further that one.
Yeah.
Each have their own story plot.
So how do you like your new audience that you're going to be getting?
Hey, this is great, man. I welcome all.
Demons to some, angels to others. Know what I mean, Vern?
Right. So I am curious, Jeff. Is this the first podcast that you've done where you get to tag the word rim job in it and hope for the best?
It's the first, and honestly, I hope it is not the last.
Well, I guarantee if you ever want us on again, I will make sure we fit some rim jobs right into it.
We'll see how many times we can say rim job in an hour on a podcast.
Right. Just to fit the billing, we will only come on and do Ernest films with you, and we will only talk about rim jobs.
There we go. We found our market to corner, guys.
There we go.
Your show is only gonna have 8 episodes. No.
This is also the first time that JB and I have been on another show together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, other than our own.
And other than our own, and it seems like it works pretty well. We should do this more often.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to have you guys back. I mean, and if you can't tell, we all fucking love this movie.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
I mean, all jokes aside, divergences aside, I mean, Ernest Scared Stupid, I think we all hold in pretty high regard. It's just a fun movie to put on whenever you're feeling like watching some Jim Varney shit.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. I 100% agree with that. You don't even have to be in like, it doesn't have to be Halloween time because there's different aspects of this movie that are captivating. And
Yeah.
you know, it's something that you can watch all year round. And even if for background noise and getting a laugh, or, you know, just for something stupid that you want on the TV at the moment, just to get by the day and lighten the way of, you know, like whatever kind of shitty day you had to deal with. Like this movie's just all around something that gets you into a different mindset and kind of gives you something to enjoy for however long the running time is. Like what, like 80 something minutes or something?
Yeah.
You know,
it is. I always do. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it is, to me, it is like one of those movies that like I do save it for Halloween just because that's what it always reminds me of. But you mentioned earlier, and I'm gonna say this real quick. Ernest Scared Stupid, it actually keeps a pretty innocent like story plot. It's not anything too outrageous, too crazy. You mentioned Hocus Pocus earlier, and I just want to go ahead and throw it out there. That is not a kid movie. That is not a kid movie. Like that. That deals with some,
isn't.
No, they're like the chicks trying to like.
My kids have watched Cannibal Holocaust. Anything's a fucking kid movie at my
Holy
house.
shit.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Right.
I'm a horror fan.
Yeah, my kids aren't.
So he didn't do the pussy version either. Animal deaths all the way.
You're horrible.
I'm not saying I promote animal deaths, but if you're gonna watch a movie, watch the movie that was intended.
Right. And I'm gonna show my shame card here. I have yet to watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Well, I think I know when we are going to be having you on to watch.
All right. I'm down.
The way you said that, JB, was very, very seductive.
Thank you.
I know what we're gonna have to watch.
I'll be 100% honest, and I would love for you to talk to your wife about it at some point, but I would love to have both of you on there for that one, to have a first-time viewer, male, female perspective of that film, just because of some of the scenes in it.
Yeah, I'll definitely
That's
talk
a good
to her
idea.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
You
sounds
know.
cool because
Hopefully she has a good stomach.
Oh, yeah. She's even more of a gorehound than I am, so
There's more than gore in this movie.
Oh yeah. I've heard the stories. I basically know the way the entire movie goes, but I just haven't seen it. And not seeing the visuals, you can't really grasp the full aspect of what Cannibal Holocaust actually is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
not one of my favorite movies. I don't hate it, but it's not one of my favorite movies. JB knows this.
It is my favorite found footage film.
Damn.
It's definitely like one of the first ones, yeah.
It's just it is. And not saying that just because of the actual movie itself, but I mean, there's so many other things with that movie, the backstory to it, the aftermath of what that film caused. I mean, there's so many different fascinating things that happened around that film in general that makes it that movie for me. So it's not necessarily just the movie, but I mean, the history of everything that happened after that movie is extremely fascinating. And I mean, even if you don't like the movie, you know, just hearing everything, it's crazy.
It's a classic regardless. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not one that I'm probably not going to like enjoy after I see it, but it's one that I need to check off my list because I feel if you're like a real horror fan, it's one you have to see. And like I said, I'm kind of ashamed that I've taken this long to actually get around to it, but I've been meaning to. It's just one of those like, it's like I want to make sure I'm in the right headspace because I know how fucked up it's gonna be. So
right. Cannibal Holocaust is one of those movies that after you watch it, like there's a few scenes that won't leave your head for a few days.
Yeah.
Did I actually just see that? And it's like a week later. It comes out of nowhere. You see like a rock shaped the wrong way, which you'll understand.
Oh man.
That probably shouldn't make me laugh.
The fact that you laugh because you got it, that makes me happy.
I have seen Green Inferno.
That
homage to
is,
Eli Roth.
I will
So-
say first off that is a, and I understand everybody has their own opinions on it, but my personal opinion is that is a shitty cop out for a cannibal Holocaust inspired film.
It's not a bad movie. I like it.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say it's not horrible, but I mean, like, there is no comparison.
No.
Right.
And, you know, we definitely do need to have that episode because we've talked about it multiple times in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I guess
yeah.
we probably do need to have that episode when time comes soon.
Green Inferno to me is like Sesame Street compared to what Hannibal Holocaust was.
Right. But Green Inferno was still a fun movie. But you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't what
So was
what
Pirates
Hannibal
of the Caribbean.
And so was Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Thank
that's what
you
we're
for
talking
bringing
about,
it back. Thank
Shit.
you for bringing it back here. And thank you for having us on, man.
Of course,
Yeah,
man.
man,
Thank you guys
definitely,
for coming. I mean, you guys have an open invite to come back whenever. So if I have
will
something
take
that I
you
want to
up on
get you
that.
guys on for, or if there's something you want to bring to the table over here, you're always welcome. And if you ever need me to pop into your show and, you know, bring it down a little bit, I'm always willing to be.
Oh, you don't bring it down, man.
I was gonna say break it down. Wait, no, what the hell are you talking about? What
Man,
you talking about, White Willis?
Hey, self-deprecating
obviously
humor
you
is my
did a
crutch,
good
man.
enough job. You did such a good job in the last episode that
Yeah, man.
even Jen and Sylvia, Saska messaged to say how great of a job we did.
Yeah, that was awesome when I saw that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I
So,
told my
you know-
wife, and she goes, "Don't tell me that. I can't know that. I don't want to know that people who are famous that I admire are giving props to what you did.
Yeah.
I don't want to know they're listening."
Well, they did.
I knew they were listening too, and it made me kind of nervous. But it's okay.
Yeah,
though.
that's my fault. I'm sorry for making you guys nervous and doing what I did.
I was fine.
Actually, no,
just
once I
sharpen
got
my
on with you
game.
guys, it was cool. I was nervous up until the point we went that you guys brought me in, and I was like, you know what? Let's just fucking do it. Whatever happens, happens, man.
That's right. Whatever
Right.
happens.
Yeah. I am sorry though if I did make anybody nervous by reaching out to them.
It just made me. It made me want to be on my game. That's all it did. I mean, you know, not too much nerve, just as on my game. That's
It
like
didn't
saying we're going
change-
to talk about. It's like we're saying we're going to talk about like Pet Cemetery, and we know Stephen King's listening. It's like you're going to be a little nervous, but you're also like, all right, I can be on my game.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to stumble over my words. Let me just be coherent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys coming on.
We
Anytime.
definitely appreciate you having us on, man.
Yeah, and anytime I'm willing to have you guys back because this was a fucking blast.
Oh yeah, this
Hey.
has been a fun one.
Rim jobs and all.
Rim jobs and wood and poo, lots of poo.
Ew.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so I am gonna put all your guys' stuff in the notes, but why don't you guys just let the listeners know once again where they can find you and everything you guys got going on, just as a recap here.
Oh man. So we're doing lots of shit.
Lots of shit.
Lots of shit. So you can find a lot of the stuff that we're doing over at talesfromthepodcast.com. The stuff in the show notes is going to be there for the Kickstarter, for the t-shirt sales. I mean, we are basically on any and all platforms. If you go to talesfromthepodcast.com, scroll down and there you see all those little pictures of like the Facebook and Instagram. Just click them. It's a link to us and that social media. I made it super simple so anybody can go get to it right away. There's even a live player on the website if you just want to listen to that. Or you can go to our YouTube channel, give us a sub there. You can touch yourself and watch us do our thing. And it's just an all
You can do that. You can. It's okay.
It is okay.
I like being watched.
It is.
It's
just a-
natural.
it can be.
Oh yeah.
It's an all around fun thing, man. That's for sure. And on top of all that stuff, I think my my lovely co-host, Mr. Chuckles McNasty,
Mhm.
he actually does some other shows too, which are pretty fucking cool. and getting into the horror realm on other aspects, and just regular film as well. And I'm sure he can mention that a little bit better himself.
Yeah, Tales from the Podcast /2G1C is not my only podcast. I do one called Nasty Nation, which is pretty much just me rambling about shit. Sometimes I do interviews with different people, mainly in the extreme music category. I do another one with my buddy Whitman called Graveyard Talk, where we go through and basically just talk about different franchises and different things that have to do with horror. And recently I was brought in on another one called the Video Store Clerks, where it's four of us talking as if we're working at a video store. And much like on here, we will tell you we're going to talk about something, and we're going to talk about 30 things in between. And it's a lot of fun, and it's pretty hilarious for the most part. And then also, I can't leave out, I'm in a band called Bastard Sons of a Judascope. And you can go to our Facebook page. Which any of the other podcast Facebook pages, Spotify, YouTube stuff, just look us up. You'll find us. Bastard Sons of a Judascope. You can find us on Facebook as well, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Again, all those places that you find stuff.
I heard you guys even had a cover band that was like almost blowing you guys out of the water.
Shut up. We'll get to that in a second. But we got a couple of shows coming up in the next couple of months. We're playing in Louisville, Kentucky at Highlands Tap Room with the amazing Bat Wizard. And I can't remember what month day that is because my days are all fucked up. And then we're also playing in Indiana, at New Haven, Indiana, at a place called Carl's. With our buddies in the band Our World for the Blonde. You go to our Facebook page and you can see where and when and all that fun shit. So if you're in the areas, come out and check that out. And that's what I've got going on. Sorry that took a lot longer. Oh yeah, and this one band. Go ahead, JB. Tell us about the band that was a mockery. Of a homage to us.
Legitimate Sons of a Jesus Pig is a cover band of Chuck's band, and we have our hit single out. What was the name of your biggest song? I forgot already.
Our newest,
Some Things End in Violence.
No, Some Things End in Bloodshed.
Yeah, Some Things End in Bloodshed. And our huge hit right now is called Some Things End in Hugs. Basically, everything that we do is straight opposite ripoff of everything that Chuck's band's doing, except we do it better. So if you like what Chuck's doing, but you're like, you know what, I want to listen to something a little bit better, check out Legitimate Sons of a Jesus Pig.
put out some more music for this shit, and then we'll talk.
Okay, fine.
You're hilarious.
The whole band was made as a joke.
Oh yeah, completely a joke. I'm actually wanting to hear more. I want to hear more of it. So.
Oh, I don't think my bandmate's down for doing more, but I'll do it.
Okay. Keep putting it out, buddy.
Don't
let the dream die.
I won't let it die. Trust me.
Just record yourself several times, alter the voices enough, put the tracks together, and you're good. One person doing it all.
Right. Well, to be fair, and I'm sure that even though the whole thing's a joke, I do everything on the synthesizer, and I'm sure even Chuck could tell you I am not bad at doing other instruments on a synthesizer.
You're definitely mastering your craft, sir.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll definitely put together some more. That's for sure. It'd be really difficult for me to do a concert, but
I mean, not really, but I mean that does cost money and time for other people.
Just play. I don't have to have other people.
But that's okay. I mean, that's okay because Bastard Sons of a Judascope. It's just two of us, and everybody tells us that we sound like we're like a 4-piece band, but it's just the two of us. So
right.
It's okay. You can do it by yourself.
I'll do it.
Do it.
And then
fucking do it. Damn it.
It's funny too because I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, "Wow, I heard your single. You sound like a 5-piece band," and I was like, "That's great." It didn't happen.
I'm gonna say this. I really hope it doesn't take 5 people to do what you did with that. It's like
Oh shit.
how many JBs does it take to screw in a light bulb?
One. How many JBs does it take to have the legitimate sons of a Jesus pig? 17.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, this has been great. So yeah,
Thank
you guys, you need to check these guys out. Check everything out they're doing. I have been reposting and sharing these guys when they have new episodes coming out because I've become a fan after being on the show. I've done dives on their YouTube channel and been listening, and these guys are fucking great. Take the compliment, goddammit.
I will.
Hey,
thank you.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it, dude, for sure. And
they like us. They really like us.
It's better than a rem job.
And I think right there is where we're going to cut that off. So yeah, check these guys out. Check out everything they're doing. If you're in Indiana, or if you're in, I believe you said Kentucky, right, Chuck, where you guys are playing? Check out their band. I mean, hey, have a few drinks, listen to their band, smoke some weed, and listen to them. I'm sure it's fucking awesome.
Smoke the weed in the parking lot. Me too, though. You got to smoke. You got to smoke weed with me while you're giving me a rim job in the parking lot.
while holding some hardwood. While holding some hardwood.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just kidding. You don't do any of that. Don't cancel me.
But you could do some of it and he wouldn't be mad.
God. Canceled. Fuck.
I think this has definitely earned the explicit tag, guys. But again, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on. And I look forward to having you back again. I don't know how the listeners will feel, but if they don't like it, you know, if you're one of the listeners, and I do this a lot, if you're one of the listeners that doesn't like this, it's not fucking for you. You know,
just lick a rim.
If you do love this, though, please let Jeff know because I want him to tell me about it. Yeah. And if you hate it, write Jeff 2 letters, and I really want to know about it.
Yeah,
or kiss Jeff where he shits. Either way.
You can leave comments on Facebook. You can email the show at skewereduniversepodcast@gmail.com. Shameless self-promotion here at the end.
Ooh,
and let us know what you guys think. And like I said, make sure you're following these guys. Go to Facebook, go to their website, check out the Kickstarter for Tales of Shock and Terror.
Thank you.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, thanks again for coming on, you guys. I really appreciate it. And
definitely.
Yeah, I can't say it enough. I look forward to having you guys on here again.
Dude, yeah, we look forward to it too, man. And you know, may I go ahead and also say, man, if you really like what Jeff's doing, dude, you gotta check out his fucking Patreon.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you for that. We've got some transmissions episodes up there, which are just smaller sides that I do, talking about, you know, everything from recent movies that I've checked out that aren't necessarily main show fare. So like the Marvel movies, pro wrestling, things of that nature, because I'm a huge wrestling nerd. Because yeah, I've loved it since I was a kid, and I still love it as a 42-year-old man. Fight me if you have a problem with that.
Hell, even if you don't like those things and you just like what Jeff's doing, support it. Yeah. The only way you're going to get more content from the people you love is if you support them along their journey.
And if you want to get punched in the face, go around Jeff wearing a clown mask.
Yes. Yeah, and if you want to make Chuck really happy, lick his asshole.
Clean, baby.
And thank you for asking for support for the show. And I think that, gentlemen, I think that's where we're going to call this. So again, I appreciate it. And thanks again.
Thank you.
That is it, guys. I hope you had as much fun listening to this as we did recording it. I want to thank JB and Chuck once again for coming on to talk about Ernest Scared Stupid. And remember to support them. Go over to talesfromthepodcast.com. Check them out over there. Their Kickstarter for Tales of Shock and Terror will go live tomorrow, February the 16th. So go over there, check out the comic book, support them if you can. Help these guys get this content out because they're doing great stuff. Check out their podcast. Go find them on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. And as far as promoting and helping and supporting, you can check out our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Skewered Universe Podcast and check us out over there. You can find transmissions episodes. There's going to be some new stuff coming, as well as commentaries and all that good stuff. So go on over there. Head over to Patreon. Search for Skewered Universe Podcast. And you can find the show on all your podcatchers. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google. Hell, we're even on Amazon Audible, so you can check us out there too. Do us a favor, go support Tales from the Podcast 2G1C. JB and Chuck are good guys. Help them out, help us out. And in the meantime, keep enjoying that universe that's just a bit skewered.
Check out Skewered Universe Podcast at the following links: skeweredhead.com, facebook.com/groups/Skewered Universe Podcast, skewereduniverse.podbean.com, Twitter at SkeweredU, Instagram, Skewered_universe, email the show at skewereduniversepodcast@gmail.com, Patreon, patreon.com/Skewered Universe Podcast. Join our Patreon, go to patreon.com/Skewered Universe Podcast to get access to exclusive bonus content such as Skewered Universe transmissions and audio commentary tracks.